You guys remember this?
Your ATM is safe, your banks are safe, there's enough cash in the financial system, and there is an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve, an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve,
an infinite amount of cash at the Federal Reserve.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. Don't you want somebody to love?
Don't you want somebody? What's up, guys? I'm sorry I do that to you guys. What's up, guys? It's Saturday, December 7th, 2024. That is the Bitcoin block height. That is the Bitcoin price today. And that, my friends, is how many Satoshis you can get for $1. My goodness, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Satoshi Saturday, the official Satoshi Saturday, I think. And I'm almost back, guys. I'm getting over this flu. And yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not coughing as much and stuff like that. But I wanted to get back to the basics today and react to one of my old videos. As you guys know, we have hit over the 100K mark, the historic day on December 4th, 2024. And today is another historic day. Obviously, December 7th is Pearl Harbor Day here in the United States of America. And I know pretty much everyone, most everyone has passed, but you know, God rest those people's souls. And as an American, I never forget these moments. But again, now that we're over 100,000, we need to get back to the basics, guys, right? I always talk about and tell you guys to get to 1 million Satoshis, right? Some people tell you to get to 1 Bitcoin. Some people tell you to get to 0.21 Bitcoin, which is a good accomplishment. All these are good accomplishments. But to really get involved with this network we call Bitcoin and the Bitcoin blockchain and everything else, we need to get to the bare bone minimum. And for me, that number is 1 million, okay? I made a video back in September 2023, September 26th to be exact. And it wasn't part of my Satoshi Saturday video at the time, because I didn't start Satoshi Saturday until I believe February 10th, 2024 of this year. And back then, the price was a lot cheaper. And I was gonna tell you guys to go back and watch it. I said, you know what? Let's just react to it. Because again, man, people in America are not good savers right now, even in the broken criminal fiat cuck buck money. We like to call it the US dollar. And it's a shame, man. I think it's 50 or 60% or something like that of people in America don't even have $1,000 to save. And as I showed you earlier, how many Satoshis you can get for $1 now, which is still a lot in the big picture, but not as much as it used to be, and as you'll see in this video. So to get 1 million Satoshis today is gonna cost you about $1,000, which unfortunately most Americans don't have, but you're not most Americans. So we're gonna go ahead and react to this video I made about 14 months ago, 13 and a half months ago, something like that. And again, for context, this was made right before the ETFs got launched, a couple of months before the ETFs got launched. And the price was a lot lower than it is now. And I don't want you guys to think it's too late. Like the great ones say, the best day to get involved was yesterday, but the next best day is today. So it's not too late. So without further ado, let's get on into the video. What's up, guys? So how to be a millionaire? How can we be a millionaire? Remember that show, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And we all want to be rich. You know, everybody wants $1 million. That's the number, $1 million, right? Well, we're not talking about dollars, but I will show you how to be a millionaire. That's how you be a millionaire right there. Oh boy. Even for me, that pains me to look at that. Oh my God. Because I haven't watched this video in a while. Did you see that? Look at that. My goodness, man. Again, it's not too late. I should have stacked harder, man. In today's dollars, 269 US dollars will get you over 1 million Satoshis. And why is that important? Do I think Satoshis will be worth, one Satoshi be worth $1? Absolutely. In my lifetime, I'm not sure. But what I do know is it depends on what the purchasing power of that said dollar or Satoshi will get you. That's what it's all about. But that number right there is the amount of Bitcoin that have been mined, and that's how many people are in the world. And if you take that and divide it, that's your fair share of Bitcoin, 200 and something thousand Satoshis. Ooh, boy, that's cheap, isn't it? That's cheap. And how you find that, it's a website called bitcoinsperperson.com. It's a great website to show you exactly what your fair share is. And those numbers are kind of skewed, to be honest with you. They actually are skewed because it's even less than this. It's less than 240 something thousand, with BlackRock and MicroStrategy and all these big companies and countries buying all the Bitcoin and Satoshis up. Again, it's not even close to that. It's probably closer, to be honest, between 25 to 50,000 probably. I don't know honestly, but it's definitely not 240 something thousand, because again, all these big countries and big entities are buying. But today, that's what it is today. How much you need to spend to get your fair share. But again, we're not talking about the little small 240 something thousand. We're talking about 1 million Satoshis. But remember, if you spend $269 or cuck bucks, I like to call them, because you're a cuck if you're saving those bucks, you know, that's how many Satoshis you'll get. You know what I mean? You'll be a millionaire. Just to let you guys know, I buy Satoshis every single day. You know, we talk about Bitcoin, but there's really, Bitcoin is an abstract thing. It's really, there's no really Bitcoin. It's just Satoshis, a bunch of Satoshis, just like US dollars. There are $1 bills, but a dollar is 100 pennies. You know what I mean? But everything costs so much that we divide it by dollars now. $1, $5, $10. Satoshis are divisible. Is a divisibility of Bitcoin, 100 million of them for each one Bitcoin. And again, Bitcoin's so expensive now, you can't, you know, most people can't just buy a Bitcoin for $26,000, $27,000, you know, even in the richest country in the world, in the United States. But when Bitcoin first started, you could, you know, they issued 50 Bitcoin every 10 minutes, and half the Bitcoin in the first 4 years of Bitcoin existence were put out into the market. 10.5 million in the first 4 years were issued out. So we flooded, or Satoshi Nakamoto and the network flooded the ecosystem with Bitcoins. And back then you can just buy Bitcoins for $1, you know, 50 cents, you know, $10 or whatever it was. And it was very, very cheap. But now obviously it's not. And the reason why is because it's scarce and it's finite, right? When I ask someone, if you have $1 million, you know, what percentage of the global money supply, of that particular money supply, do you have? You never know. Now let me stop it right there. This is a good place. You heard what I said about what percentage of the money supply you own. If I gave you $1 million today, you don't know how much you own. That's why I played that part in the beginning of the video when the guy was, you know, printing all the money, the guy from the Fed and the girl dancing and stuff, because there's an unlimited, he said it, there's an unlimited supply of US dollars and of physical cash and digital cash and digital dollars and things like that. But it's not like that with Bitcoin. There's only 21 million coins that ever be minted, which means there's only 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis. And again, it seems like a lot, but we're splitting those between 8 billion people. And again, like I said earlier, governments, countries, millionaires, billionaires, corporations, you name it, and everybody else on the planet. So again, if you get yourself 1 million Satoshis, you know exactly the percentage of the money supply you own. But one thing about Bitcoin or Satoshis is if you buy a certain amount of Satoshis and hold them, the price is guaranteed to go up because the supply cannot be inflated, or you can't make more of it, right? The demand can go up all at once, but you can't make any more of it. So in order to be a millionaire today, you can buy $269 a Bitcoin. You know, I don't know if that's a lot of money to you or not, and I'm not telling you to buy that. I'm just telling you, you want to be a millionaire. These Satoshis one day, 1 million Satoshis will be worth, in my opinion, way more than $1 million, just for the simple fact of there's so many dollars out here. No one knows how many US dollars there are in the world. And I'm talking about physical dollars. You don't even know how many physical dollars there are because they're just getting printed and printed and printed. But what you really don't know is how many digital dollars, zeros and ones, there are in a computer screen and what's really out there in the market. We have no idea. Quadrillions, I don't know. I've heard 900 trillion, but I highly doubt that. But if you take all fiat currencies and put them together, because, you know, the US dollar is the best crack house on the crack street, still a crack house. I would guess there's quadrillions of them. There's only I think it's like 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis, because there's 21 million Bitcoin, something like that. And 1 million of those Bitcoin haven't moved since its inception. Those are Satoshis, Nakamoto's Bitcoins, that one
million Bitcoin he hasn't moved at all. And a lot of people think that person or those people are dead and it hasn't moved. And what a sacrifice that person made, just not moving those on the blockchain at all.
And on a side note, BlackRock and the rest of them ETF boys have just surpassed Satoshi Nakamoto's holdings of 1.1 million Bitcoin. I think they have like 1.2 million Bitcoin or something like that in less than 10 and a half months. It's crazy.
And then on top of that, people have estimated between 4 and 5 or 6 million have been lost due to people losing their passcodes or throwing out old, computers. This is back in the early first 4 to 8 years, because people, Bitcoin wasn't really worth anything the first few years. And so it wasn't worth anything the first like year and a half or something like that. And people, they were just tokens. Nobody knew what it was. And they didn't know one day it'd go up to 69,000 or be up around 30,000 now, and probably millions of US dollars in value in the future. Nobody knew that. So people were just losing them left and right. And you got people now still who don't understand it because it's new. It's only 14 and almost 15 years old, that people don't understand what it is. We're still early, ladies and gentlemen. And I read some of the comments, or read all the comments in my last video, and I had to laugh because, not laughing at the people that made the comments, I laugh because I know that I'm early. And those comments that you make, I used to say the same thing about it.
I know that video was from 14 months ago, but we're still early, guys. We're not even 16 years into it. We won't be 16 until January 3rd. So don't think you're too late because we hit 100,000. There's still 90-something% of the people that don't own Bitcoin. And even at 100,000, you're still way early.
And so with so many Bitcoins lost, that makes the supply even lower, which will cause later on the demand to go higher, and the price has to go higher because Bitcoin, or Satoshis, or whatever you want to call them, are deflationary because we're losing supply versus gaining supply like the US dollars and gold and silver, because we're losing purchasing power of gold at I think like a 2% rate because we mine gold every day. And there's more and more gold in the ecosystem, as is silver. More people are, or less people are buying gold and silver than it is being mined, right? I think silver one day will change that due to the industrial purposes of silver. But Bitcoin solves the problem of a broken money and a broken computer digital money. Silver and gold doesn't solve that problem anymore because it's just it's in cumbersome. You're not going to move around gold and silver in the next 100 years. We're not going to go backwards and pass out gold and silver coins. It's just not going to happen.
What's crazy, and as you can see, I had silver on the table then. That was the last bit of my silver. I used to be a gold and silver stacker. You can go back to my old channel and watch that. I had a lot of it, a lot of my net worth in that, as far as like as much as my capacity. And I had a big chunk of my net worth in that stuff. But as I kept getting into Bitcoin, I got in, like I said, February 2021, and that was September 2023. Probably a few days later, maybe a week at the most later, I sold the rest of that silver. That silver right there is the most finite silver. I think I talk about that in this video. But even that stuff doesn't compare to the finiteness of Bitcoin. So as I'm talking to myself in that video, I'm realizing like, wait a minute, even this silver's vintage, and this silver is very rare, and they're not making it anymore. It's not as rare as Satoshi's, and it's a digital money in a digital world, and that's why I sold the rest of it. And thank God I did, because I'm up big into comparison of what I bought it and sold it for.
We're in a digital world, and I'm 48 years old, and I remember, handing out cash at the register. And then I remember when credit cards first came out, and they had to sit there and put all the credit card numbers in when I was with my grandmother when I was a kid in the 90s, early 90s. And then you could swipe the credit cards, then you could scan the credit cards. Now you can scan your phone, and now they have things where you can move around a payment thing around the restaurant if you're get a payment, and 4 or 5 people can pay at the same time, and you have somebody, 4 or 5 waitresses can pass out a scanner, and they can pay right at their table, and there's somebody at the desk or at the counter paying at the same time, and it's all going to the same system. And Bitcoin is going to be that payment rail one day. It's going to be the layer that's built under your feet, like a golden bridge, or the yellow brick road, or something like that. You know what I mean?
Wow, that young man's pretty smart. He's only 48. He's right. It will be the money that's built under our feet, like the yellow brick road. I believe within 5 years, a big percentage of a lot of stores and places that we're going to now to purchase and buy stuff, look at Strike. They're already letting you pay bills with it. I think on everybody's phone, you'll be able to have a Lightning wallet on there. Look at what Rumble's doing. Look what all these different companies are doing. And again, this is what I always tell people, man. If you still got precious metals, I'm not telling you to sell them, but I'm definitely telling you to consider selling a small piece of it and get into the finite pie of Bitcoin, because I'm telling you right now, like the great Wayne Gretzky says, don't skate to where the puck is, skate to where the puck is going.
So if you want to be a millionaire, long story short, buy 1 million Satoshis and hold them. You know what I mean? But before you do that, learn more about Bitcoin and see why that scarcity is so important. You know what I mean? Guys, the reason why I have this silver on the table, most of it, like 90% of it, I have a Johnson Matthey bar right here. I have an Engelhard bar right here. And I got a couple things, like pandas are still being made and stuff like that. Now, the specific years aren't. But these little Engelhard bars, these constitutional silver, these 1996 American Eagles, even though silver is being made every single day or mined every single day, they're not making any more of this. This is a finite supply of this. That's why I keep that kind of silver. You know what I mean? That's why I love constitutional silver, because it's historic and things like that. And there's a finite supply. They are not making any more of that. You know what I mean? So every time I buy a piece of these Engelhards or Johnson Mattheys or constitutional silver, I know that I'm getting a piece of that finite supply of hard money. Because I still believe in hard money. But I know for a fact that one day we will be going to digital money. We're already doing that. But in the future, it's going to be even crazier, especially with this AI and stuff like that going on. As much as I don't like it, it's coming, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want it to come, but it's coming. So this is all you need to get your fair share right here. 200-something thousand Satoshis. Cost you $70 today to get your fair share of Bitcoin or Satoshis or whatever you want to call them. But if you want to be a millionaire, this is what you have to spend to be a millionaire. And if you want to be a multi-millionaire, just keep learning about Bitcoin, keep buying it, and get ready for the future and buckle up. Because when you start learning about Bitcoin, once you see it, you can't unsee it.
There you have it, guys. My goodness. Looking at that old video, seeing how it was then, I know so much more now because I study every single day. That's why I tell you guys. And just like he said in that video, the old Jerry, study Bitcoin, study Satoshis. If I didn't do it, I'd still have my gold and silver today. That was like my introductory course to the broken money system. And the guy I showed you in the beginning of the video, printing all that money, I wouldn't have known, for me personally, my journey, if it wasn't for gold and silver. And I'll always be thankful for that. I don't have any more left, man. I don't. When I looked at that on the table, I'm not gonna lie, I do miss that stuff, you know, because I'm an older guy. I'm almost 50, and I'm used to having Polaroid pictures and stuff. I'm a physical guy, you know. But again, this is a digital world. And if you look at those prices that I just showed you on the screen in real time in September of 2023, not that long ago, man. It was only 14 months ago. Let me ask you this. What do you think the price is going to be in 4 years? How much is it going to cost you to get 1 million Satoshis? It costs you a little over $1,000 today. How much is it going to cost you in a year or 14 months? You think it's going to cost you more or less? Especially with BlackRock sucking them up like a vacuum. Donald Trump and them boys up in the U.S. government. Cynthia Loomis supposedly buying 200,000 a year. I think that's bearish. I think they're going to buy more than that. Getting up to 1 million. What do you think it's going to be? I usually tell people, get off zero, right? Get off of zero, period. If you don't have any Bitcoin at all or any Satoshis at all, I tell people to take their investment portfolio, not their whole network, just their investment portfolio. Take 1% of that. So let's say it's a 200,000. Take $2,000 of that and buy Satoshis with it. And then work your way up as you learn your way up. And you're reading the books and watching the podcasts and watching stuff like this and everything else. And also on the side note, if you want to really learn about Satoshis and Bitcoin, what I would do is I'd go over to Jor's channel. Jor from 88 Sats Radio. He has a great channel. He's my partner now, along with Chris from Fractal Bitcoin. Those guys make incredible videos every single day. Go ahead and check them out. We are now partners. We're the Bitcoin Amigos. We have a YouTube channel. I'll put the link on it in the description box. We do a show every Friday. But if you go to those two guys' channel, because they're highly recommended in my recommended list of YouTube videos, definitely you'll be doing some studying if you watch those two. But to finish this off, guys, because it's getting dark out here, listen, we don't know what the price is. We don't have a, you know, crystal ball. And when people ask me, how do you know the price is going to go up and blah, blah, blah. It's just like somebody asking me, how do I know if I have a calculator and I press 2, hit plus and hit 2 again, and before I hit the equal button, I tell them it's 4. Reason why is because we've never had a money like this. So mathematically on point like this is. This system is incredible, man. And that's why I sold on my gold and silver. Again, just like I said in the video, I have no idea how much gold and silver was mined today. Do you? How many dollars were printed today? How many stocks were split? I don't know. And neither do you. But we do know how many Bitcoins were mined today. 450 every single day until the halving, until early 2028. Then it's going to go down to 225. Right now, we're only doing 3.125 every 10 minutes. Get your piece of the network. So when I was telling you guys to do 1%, at least do that or get 1 million Satoshis, whatever's the highest. And then again, watch the YouTube channels, read Z books or eat Z bugs, and make sure you're studying your butt off. And don't miss out on this, man. You didn't miss out because you didn't buy in the 20s and when Bitcoin was $1 or whatever. You didn't miss out. It's so early. You are so early on the adoption curve, it's not even funny. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And again, guys, listen, your family, the people that don't know you and your family, are going to build statues of you. And I mean that, man. You are the only one right now during this Bitcoin gold rush, which started in January 2024, that can accumulate the way you can. You're the only one.
We're in the Bitcoin gold rush. It started in January of 2024, and it will run till about November of 2034. How many people know what happened in November of 2034? In November of 2034, 99% of all the Bitcoin will have been mined, and the last 1% comes out over the next 100 years. So for all practical purposes, the stock to flow ratio of Bitcoin is infinity in 2034. It becomes noise. At the beginning of the gold rush, no bank could custody Bitcoin, no institutional investor could buy Bitcoin, no Wall Street trading firm. When those spot ETFs were approved, that created a fire or an avalanche. The genie's out of the bottle. It doesn't matter who's elected president next. It doesn't matter who's the next head of the SEC. No politician's opinion, no banker opinion, no regulator opinion matters after that date. That kicked off the gold rush.
You're the leader. Man, woman, it doesn't matter. And your family is going to ask you 1 or 2 questions on your deathbed. They're either going to say, wow, what made you buy Bitcoin and learn about Satoshis? Thank you so much for doing that. Or why didn't you buy when it was going up to 100,000 and Donald Trump said he's going to make it a strategic Bitcoin reserve? Why did you just keep gold or silver? Or why did you just keep stocks? Why, Dad? Why, Grandpa? Why, Grandma? Why? But you're here. And it's not because you're here. It's because you're on this timeline and God sent you here today. So do me a favor, guys. I know I say this every single video, but there's a reason I say it every single video. And please, Lord, let these words go deep down inside these people and let these words sink in and make sure that they take action. Because again, knowledge is not power. Knowledge is not power without action. You got to take action and get yourself to 1 million Satoshis today. So do you and your family a favor and stack Satoshis today, guys. So you and your family don't have to work for those exact same Satoshis tomorrow. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace and love, guys.